people or individuals with autism, especially sort of children, how do you help them make friends, or how do you sort of, you know, really get through to them?
Okay. Well, as we talked about, you know, children with ASD or people with ASD in general don't follow the same developmental patterns as neurotypical people. So the approach that we use is called Applied Behavior Analysis, ABA, and we break skills down into small steps. So we need to teach the child how to play, first of all.
Right.
Okay, so if you have a toy, most children with autism don't know how to play with it, or they play with it in an inappropriate way.
Okay.
And so we first teach them how to play with the toy.
Right.
And then once they can do that, and they're learning new skills pretty quickly, then we'll teach them how to play board games and how to play more circle games, types of things that you'd find on the playground with other children. And then from there, then we start asking the parents to find peers in the neighborhood, peers in the community that they can bring over to their house, so that the child with autism can play.
So it's about gradually easing them into it.
It's gradually easing them in and gradually teaching them the appropriate play skills. So once we start bringing a peer over to the house, then we introduce all of the games that have been taught in our sessions.
You brought some with you, but then before we take a look at it, we've got to go to a break.
Oh, yes, when we come back, we'll get to play some games. Before the break, we were talking about some of the games or things that you can play with your with children.
How to build friendship skills.
That's right, and how to build those friendship skills. Now, you've actually, you said you've got something for us here. We always like it when people have props. It's great fun.
This is just one of the tools that we use with the children that we're working with.
Okay.
If we can provide them with some predictability, usually with a schedule board, this will help. So when the child is playing with a peer, they've learned all of these skills. They've learned how to play all of these games in one-on-one sessions with us. And then what we do is we invite peers over to play with them. And we give them the schedule so that the child with autism knows what they're going to be doing, and it provides the predictability that first we're going to do this and then we're going to do this. And that just helps kind of ease the transitions. You know, when one game is finished, then what do I do? I know I'm going to do this.
Now, we've spoken a lot about predictability, about feel, you know, sort of like knowing what's coming up and that kind of stuff. Is autism a lot to do with a lack of security, or a lack of feeling of that they need to know what's coming up, that they need to feel secure in order to deal? I mean, is that what it is?
I mean,
or is that just one facet of it?
I think more it boils back down to the point of communication. Because if they had an ability to communicate, then they would be able to understand maybe a sense of time, calendar, you know, this is what's going to happen next. When we talk, we're going to say, okay, we're going to go and play this. They would understand that. But then, like even now, we can understand what's happening next and all. But kids with autism, because of that lack of ability to communicate and to understand that communication from parents or people, they actually are just kind of moved around without realizing what's happening. So that's why for them it is intense pressure when suddenly somebody, or intense stress, I would say, somebody suddenly comes over, or you suddenly have a Christmas party, or there's an open house. Why all these people in my home?
So it's about understanding, basically.
Yeah, what is actually happening. So with visuals, they really kind of help our kids really understand what is coming next and what's expected. And the basis of our program is really to start in small steps. So we start where the child is most successful. So sometimes you may not even have 4 games in a row. Maybe we might only do 1 game, and then the other child goes home already. So it's less stress for our child with autism. You know, so always building up on where they are successful rather than just throwing them into the deep end and hoping they swim.